Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Mini Slayer gameplay. Don't ask me why I'm bringing you Mini Slayer, I have no earthly idea. I don't even like Mini Slayer, I think it's frustrating. The primary weapon being Assault Rifle is irritating, then you can't melee in it. I don't know why they got rid of melee. I don't know if that, maybe melee was too easy compared to actually having to shoot the target, so they didn't want people just relying on melee the entire time. But it's so frustrating going in for the melee and just nothing happening. I think at the very least they could have done something like it took a certain number of hits, so it didn't just get into this awkward close confrontation with the ARs and you're missing each other. And like in a slightly laggy lobby, or in a lobby where people have terrible accuracy, the confrontations can get so awkward close range to the point it's like not even fun. Getting ordnances is like crucial in this game type, and some people get like fuel rods at times and beam rifles, and they're utterly ridiculous. And because the auto aim's so intense, it doesn't even matter that you're trying to snipe. It's not like it's trying to thread the eye through the needle. The auto aim just corrects all that for you and says, "Hey, there you go, get a headshot, buddy." So it's kind of dumb, and this lobby in particular, we were playing a team that were clearly taking Mini Slayer extremely seriously, and like the Mini Slayer meta game was advancing as we were playing, and it just feels ridiculous. There's these certain moments in the game where you just stop for a second and go, wait, what am I doing with my life right now? Like, if someone walked in and they saw how tryhard and sweaty I was going in a Mini Slayer game, I think they'd probably laugh at me. Anywho, I had a topic that I wanted to discuss, and as usual, I take 2 minutes to get to the topic, because I'm a scumbag. But I like setting up the game for you. I don't know if you like that, you probably hate it, I apologize. But I had a topic, and it revolves around the idea of a Halo TV show. It's not really something that's come up too much on the channel, and it's not like I don't like TV, TV, I feel like, at least in terms of dramas, is in kind of a golden age right now. TV series like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Dexter. Okay, Dexter got a little bit terrible towards the end, but the point still remains. Then you got like Mad Men, Boardwalk Empire. I didn't really like those two shows, but I can respect them, and I can tell that, it's really well acted. It's just not necessarily my scene. But Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones are some of my favorite pieces of media out there at the moment. And in some ways, I even get jealous of TV at times. Because the level of quality there is just so supreme. It's incredible, and games, have a tendency to be a little bit disappointing, and I've got this cynical attitude when it comes to these TV shows of like, oh, it's gonna get bad this week, like, what if it gets bad? Because there have been a lot of TV shows in the past that did that. Heroes, for me, is a good example. I loved Heroes Season 1, I thought it was one of my favorite shows on TV, and then post-Heroes Season 1, it got absolutely awful. And with Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, I was constantly, waiting for the next episode thinking, oh my god, when's it going to end? When is this show going to get worse? It can't stay this good for this long. Game of Thrones is the perfect example of that. The level of quality throughout the TV show, and it's always increasing in quality. It's never decreasing. It's utterly ridiculous. So, by all considerations, I should be insanely hyped for the idea of a Halo TV show. But for whatever reason, I can't shake this cynical perspective that I've got going on it right now. To be quite honest with you guys, I didn't really enjoy Halo Forward Unto Dawn. There were things I did enjoy about it. For example, the special effects, the art direction. I thought the actors and actresses were pretty good. The Elites was something, for example, I thought they captured the essence of down to a T. The intimidation factor, they had this mysterious brooding look, sort of like Aliens, and that's something that the Elites have always been credited as looking. But, CGI is something I'm super, super picky about. I only want it added in if I feel like it enhances the scene. I don't want it to just be tacked on to any old scene, and the Elites really did. They were brought to life thanks to CGI. The Hunters as well, the Covenant in general, they had a great vision for how they should look and how they should act. And that's something that I definitely appreciated. Stuff like the Warthog. The Warthog really gave me that nostalgic feel. They perfectly nailed how it should look, how it should sound, how it should act. The Master Chief had great physicality, and he was kind of like towered over everyone, and I really, really enjoyed that. The suit looked perfect. So there were things I liked about Forward Unto Dawn, but in general, I feel like Halo is a series where Master Chief is not integral enough to the script to be able to revolve a film around him. So then it comes down to what they make the film out of instead. You know, Master Chief is obviously a fantastic character. I think one of the things that works best about Master Chief is the fact that he is mysterious, about the fact that you don't know too much about him, so you get to fill in the gaps yourself as a player. The thing is, when a game's happening, you can have Master Chief front and center at all times without having to have him talk too much. Because it's a game, because he's walking around shooting, because he's got so much action to contend with, it doesn't matter that he hasn't got too much interesting dialogue to fill in. Whereas in a TV show format, there has to be, you know, constant dialogue, entertainment, and, you know, interesting stuff going on. And if it hasn't got this weight to it, viewers will just switch off as a result. So they can't have Master Chief as front and center as they can. And the thing is, what they have a tendency to do, and Hollywood have a tendency to do, is take the more militaristic aspects of the games and they put them front and center. This is something they did in the Doom films, for example. The Doom, they made it all gun, shooty, shooty, and then it became about these testosterone-filled, you know, Marines talking about how they were going to kick ass, take names, etc. And although I don't think they necessarily did it in that cheap of a way in Forward Unto Dawn, I feel like it's a pitfall that they can fall into. You know, TV, they want to widen their audience as much as they physically can, and one of the best ways to do that is fill in this militaristic theme and like kind of overemphasize it, because in America, that's something that a lot of people are talking about. That's something that a lot of people are engaged with, and it's constantly on the news. It's constantly in a presence in our media, and there's a lot of interest revolving around it. Whereas I feel like that's one of the less interesting aspects of the Halo universe. One of the things I would personally like to see more of is stuff like the human elite contact, the way in which they have this kind of awkward relationship with each other. The elites are very similar to humans in a lot of ways, and these discussions and this tension and these arguments that are brought forward are some of the more interesting things in the Halo universe. I thought it was something that made the Halo 2 campaign one of the more special ones out there, because we got to learn more about the Arbiter, more about the way that the alien races work, and just the mythology and the lore behind the games. Races is something that they've nailed down to a T in Halo, I feel like, and it should be explored more. These disputes, these interrelations between the two races, or the three races if you include the other ones like the Brutes, etc. I think for me, when it comes down to the Halo TV show, it's a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Halo universe has so much to call upon, so many you know, diverse races, so many fascinating stories and events that have taken place within this universe, and it's been appreciated by gamers for such a long time, that I'd like to see a good deal of fan service this time around. That's something that I felt like was missing a tiny bit from Forward Unto Dawn, is that there were certain things I was just, you know, dying to see in that universe. Stuff like 343, Guilty Spark, and the different AIs. I wanted to see more of Cortana. And if these things are going to be brought into the universe, I would love to see it in a way that they still use the original voice actors. Because for me, Jen Taylor is the definitive Cortana. For me, Steve Downes is the definitive Master Chief. And to mix around with that formula too much would be irritating. But I suppose what I worry about is having to add in these filler, generic, you know, warlike characters and give them a plot that isn't really all too relevant towards the Halo's plot line. I want to see something that's both fan service to gamers and can be appreciated on a wider scale. And I do definitely think it's possible. I think Halo's got a lot of potential within it, and clearly they recognize that themselves. And I think it has all the power to do well with Steven Spielberg overseeing the project in some small way. I'm hoping that he'll have more involvement than a lot of producers can in this industry, because a lot of the time, producer is kind of just tacked on, and it's just a name to, you know, attract audience, to bring in money, and basically bring attention to the project in general. And I hope Spielberg, you know, vision is kind of brought to the piece. Anyway, I have been Modest Major. I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary and see where I'm coming from. Thank you for watching. Peace.